with me now. Go with me now. I'm gonna take you down. Go with me now. I'm gonna show you how. Go with me now.
You're just in time for our scripture. All right, so guys, I guess girls too, but guys, who's prettier? Who's more beautiful? Who do you want to hang out with? Okay, Fez is honest. Fez is being very honest. But you know what the right answer is, though, don't you? Everyone is. All right, good. So let's read this. Fez, you read this to us. That's it. So basically, they're both beautiful. They're equal. Okay? Does that make sense, guys? Bless you. Okay? So it's not just in the way we perceive beauty. It's also in how we treat others. Remember that Rachel's Challenge thing? Y'all are supposed to treat people nicely, no matter who they are, no matter what they look like, no matter what they, sound like, any of that. It's what they smell like, even, whatever. Okay? Everybody's the same. Fez, who's doing our prayer today? Angela? If you're capable. Okay. If you're not, then don't. Okay. Who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Thanks, Angela. All right, so yeah, we'll do this, okay? Actually, okay, so we're shifting gears, okay? Last class I showed y'all the PPC. And some of y'all went with that thing you learned in the previous class, which was, there's a indirect negative inverse relationship or something like that. Y'all came up with that, right? But that wasn't really the case. The PPC didn't really show like this relationship between two products. It was more or less, it just showed that there's a trade-off when you produce one, you have to give up some of the other. This one will be the inverse relationship thing, okay? So let's look. We're going to graph this table to the right. So you have all these different prices, okay, and then all these different quantities. So what's going on with the quantities as the price goes down? Yeah, so there's an opposite thing, right? So that's how they're related. So if you had drawn this on a graph, it would have looked like this. Does that look like everybody's? Okay. One of the things, like especially in the regular class, people get confused a lot for whatever reason. Sometimes I don't know why this happens, but sometimes they'll draw it going upward because they mislabeled or misnumbered their axes somehow. So this is a demand curve. So when price goes up, quantity goes down. When price goes down, quantity goes up. Megan. Yeah. It doesn't matter. In fact, in this class, accuracy is not hugely important, okay, unless I'm trying to get you to understand a concept. In this class, the shape is what's important, okay? So this is a demand curve. So the shape of the curve is what's important. We want it to be downward sloping, okay? And it could be shaped like this. Hey, I got my ink back. This is good news, okay? Maybe it looks more like this. It's whatever, okay? As long as it's downward sloping, that's what we want to see. Okay, get off of there. All right. This is good news, guys. You have no idea what this thing has been bugging me. Do y'all remember it everything was red? Okay, we did. Okay. All my other classes, I've been writing on it, and every pen is red. And then every time I touch the board with a pen, it advances the slide. So if this is working now, that's very good news. All right, so why does the line slope as it does? You guys already know this answer. No, this isn't constant cost. That was a PPC. This is... No, just use your own words, like the things you knew before you came into this class. Why does it slope downward? Yeah, what she said is almost right, except, can I paraphrase? Okay, we as consumers don't like high prices. So when the price is high, we don't buy as much. We like low prices, so when the price is low, we buy more. Okay? You all get that? What you said was as the price goes down, the demand goes up. But that's, you're going to see today that that's, semantically, there's something wrong with that. And you'll pick it out in a minute. Okay? So what can you infer about the law of demand? Basically, as the price goes up, the quantity demanded goes down. As the price goes down, the quantity demanded goes up. So we've got all that stuff. Okay? Do you all feel comfortable with this already? This isn't hard. This is actually very easy. But I'm going to make it hard today. Because that's what we do in economics class. All right, so today you guys are going to understand the workings of demand. So we're covering the demand curve today. We're actually going to spend 2 days on it. So even though it's very, very simple, the nuances of demand are complex. And so we're going to spend 2 days on it. Some of you may think that I don't need to spend this much time on it. And it's too simple. But it really is, it's important because this will be the foundations. Like, if you don't get what we do today, the first test will be very difficult. So we got to make sure we get it straight. All right? Let's see, we've done our journal. We've already turned in the PPC. There was also a circular flow, but we didn't get to that last time. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to take a quiz, okay, on the PPC. Then I'm going to review, I think I have time to review the PPC or one of the problems from the homework. I thought maybe the bikini bottom one. Do you all remember that one? It had multiple curves. Do you want me to review that before the quiz or after? Oh, okay. All right, then we'll briefly discuss the circular flow model, and I'm going to assign that as homework this time. Okay, so 1, 2B, circular flow, and then 3A, demand curve. There's 2 homeworks. Kia calls them quizzes. Don't confuse everybody. They're just homework. Okay. And yeah, Kish, 1 time is your grade. Okay. When you do the Kia, the first time counts. Okay. Now I will tell you this: when if your computer like shuts down or something in the middle of a quiz, sometimes Kia doesn't count that, and then you can start right back. Okay. So it does. Does it give you a warning then? Okay, don't do that. Some of them I have it where you can see all the questions. Some of them I have it where I want you to actually see only one question at a time. So, which one? Oh. Okay. Well, Kish, don't look at all of them. Hold on. What is it? Oh, don't tell me your name. What's your name? I was going to say that, and then I was thinking to myself, I'm going to insult her if I get it wrong. Okay, Jordan. You can do it multiple times. It counts the first time. Okay? Yeah. Well, there's a reason behind it, guys. If you know that the first time counts, what are you going to do? Try harder. And then when you try, you learn. Okay? When you have to look stuff up and it counts and stuff, you learn from that. If you're just going through it really fast and you see which ones you got wrong and then you take it again and then it's just recall. I need y'all to understand critical thinking, okay? Angela. Yeah, to practice. Okay, so everybody got this down? All right, let's see. Okay, let me skip out of this. Let me reverse the order because y'all wanted to review first, okay? Okay. Okie dokie. So this one here, I made the questions. Some of them may be a little bit different from what was on the actual homework, but let's see if I think they're pretty much the same though. So for the following questions, assume that Bikini Bottom is currently producing on PPC B. So their real PPC is this one. I'll highlight it. Oh, it's off a little bit. Okay. Okay, that's their actual PPC. Okay, the other ones are just there in case we change up the question. Okay. If a new technological breakthrough enables more consumer goods to be produced with the same resources, which curve would represent the new curve? Oh, Addison, right? Okay. C? Yeah, because if they can produce more consumer goods, but their capital goods remain the same, then yeah, they would move to this next one, which would be out like this. Okay? So that's how A would have looked. Everybody get that? Oh, Jordan. No, not necessarily, but if you have a question, I will. Okay? All right. All right, B, if a new government policy forces industry to use less automation in order to reduce emissions, which curve would represent the new PPC for Bikini Bottom? All right, yeah, so we're back to B again, okay? So we're starting with B. If government restricts businesses, then they can't produce as much, so we would be on a new curve, which would be this one. Well, this is a totally new question, okay? So we're using B. No. Well, here's where you're getting confused. All right, consumer goods still use automation, right? Like a factory, you still make consumer goods in a factory. So if they reduce the amount of emissions, yeah. Okay, so that's why it's A. All right, how about C? If massive new resources were discovered and major technological breakthroughs in both industries. Then we go to D, all right? So now we're way over here, okay? And then assume that robots can produce Krabby Patties. If Bikini Bottom's PPC were curve B, which point on the curve would allow for the most future growth? W. Everybody get W? Wait, what? Lucy? Well, we're on B. Okay, we're on B. Want me to erase all that?
No, we're on probably B, right?
Yeah, but we're back to curve B being the curve we're analyzing. Okay, so if robots can produce Krabby Patties, oh wait a minute, yeah, then we'd have more growth right here. Yeah. All right, here, let's go back to this. This is for Lucy. Okay, what does this stand for? Okay, what is one of the resources we can make more of? Capital. So that's what robots are, okay? Because robots can produce more robots or more Krabby Patties, right? So if we do indeed create more of this, then we'll have more growth in the future, right? So where on curve B would be the likely place we could actually do that? You would get more of that, but you'd also get more of other things. All it's asking is where on this curve, X, Y, or W, should we produce if we want more growth? Growth comes from more resources. So if we make more capital, we're getting more resources. That's what we want. Okay? If curve B is the current PPC, what can you infer about point V? You guys got this? Yeah, unemployment exists, right? Okay. What about point Z? We don't have enough resources. Hold on, let me get through these real quick. And then if curve B is the current PPC, at what point can Bikini Bottom produce most efficiently? W, X, Y. All right, question right there, yeah. Uh-huh. No. All that would do is give you a different point along the curve. So if Squidward's not working at Krabby Patty anymore, and maybe he's working at the robot factory, all it does is move point along. Hold on. You said he just changed careers, right?
No, it says change careers.
That's no. The economy still has interpretive dancers. Yeah. It's okay, you guys. Here's what you got to think, okay? It's not just Krabby Patties. It's all consumer goods. And it's not just robots. It's all capital goods. That's whatever. You'll get over it. All right, guys, new stuff. Here we go. Shh. Focus. Tell you what, if we don't finish today, too bad. Okay? So y'all just stay on, okay? All right, so the circular flow. I want you to we talked about resources, right? And that society uses those resources to produce stuff, right? And y'all probably know who buys stuff, right? We do as consumers, right? And businesses are the ones who produce those things, right? So we buy stuff from business. We give them money, right? What do they use that money for? They use it to buy resources, including our labor. And so basically, throughout the economy, we have this thing called the circular flow. And all it means is like this cycle of money and resources and goods and services that just flows. Okay? They pay us for our labor. We pay them for goods and services. And it's like back and forth continuously. Okay? Y'all need to be able to recognize how the circular flow works. Okay? This image will be in your book. On your homework for today about the circular flow, I'll post some different websites if you want additional review for it. But it's not a difficult concept. It's just sometimes hard for people to remember how everything works, okay? So I'm going to draw it up here, and then we're going to quiz ourselves, like not a real quiz, but just quiz ourselves, and then we'll move on to demand. What's your question? But just 2 questions, right? Yeah, 2 little bitty simple questions. So we're going to get more involved now, all right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the house. I think I have to do it from over here. No? Oh, well. Dang. I don't want to take the time to do that, do I? No, I'll do it. Because I'm going to be drawing all day. I shouldn't have to do this every day, should I? I'll find it. Does Coach May use this a lot? I don't understand though. If he calibrates it, why do I have to do it? All right. So this is the businesses, okay? And we of course live here, so there's pictures of us in it. Well, it's still not completely calibrated, guys. So what's inside of our houses, though, I want you to imagine this, okay? The things you own, you keep them at your house, right? Okay? Well, what we own are these things, if you'll remember what they stand for. LLCE, land, labor, capital, entrepreneurial ability. We own those things. What good are they to us, though, unless we sell them? So who do we sell them to? Okay, we sell them to businesses. So the land, labor, capital, entrepreneurial ability, and whatnot is coming over here. And over here, we've got a little factory. Okay? They buy our resources. Okay? Now you're probably thinking to yourself, well, I don't own any land or capital, right? Aren't you thinking that? But everything's privately owned in our country. So even though a corporation might own a bunch of capital, guess who owns the corporation? A person or people, right? So we just make the assumption that all resources are owned by individuals, okay? And that businesses buy them. Let me label that up as a business. Okay? Now, what do they do with our resources? They could make more resources, they could make goods and services, whatever. Okay? So let's make that flow this way. Probably should use a different color. See, so this one was land, labor, capital, entrepreneur. Then they turn those things into goods and services. Okay, I'm abbreviating, but you heard me say services, right? Okay. Now, when we sell them our resources, what do they give us? Money, right? Okay. So the money flows back to the house, and the payment for these things are rent, wages, interest, and profit. Remember that? Okay. What do we use those things for? We use that money to then buy things from the business. Okay? And we call this flow of money consumer expenditures. So I'm writing it out a little bit, but it's consumer expenditures. Everybody got that so far? Now, the two questions on your homework dealt with the product market and the resource market, right? Okay. So let's draw those in here. This is the resource market. And down here is the product market. Okay. So the question on your homework dealt with who's the demander and who's the supplier of resources in the resource market, right? Businesses demand our resources. We as households supply them. Okay? So this is a marketplace where there's a supply and a demand. Okay? Yes, ma'am. Yeah, right over here. Rent, wages, interest, profit. Okay? It's just, and that's just money. So see, all the money is flowing counterclockwise in my model here. Okay? And then the resources that turn into goods and services flows clockwise. All right?
The money is the red line.
Yeah, that's why I screwed it up. I should have drawn the money as the green line. Okay? But anyway, this is the introduction to this. All right? We can clarify it now. We can actually make it more difficult too. In fact, your homework on this is more difficult. So let me add the government. Okay? The government taxes us, right? Don't they? Okay. So we send money to the government. That's our taxes. Businesses also get taxed. So taxes go this way. Okay? But the government also provides us with stuff, don't they? Okay? Maybe roads. Or here, we'll call this, we'll just say welfare here. Okay? And maybe they give subsidies over here to businesses, which we'll learn about, so it's not hugely important today. Okay? But this is where it also gets kind of crazy. Government buys goods and services, right? They also provide them, like roads and the military and police. Those are goods and services for us. Okay? And of course, they hire us, right? And then the government also owns certain resources, okay, like the Alaskan Arctic National Wildlife Refuge. There's oil there. The government could sell some of that. So the government also sells resources. So it can get a little bit complicated, but it's really not complicated at all. It's just this. We rely on businesses to provide us with income and goods and services. They rely on us to be their customers and to provide them with resources. Okay? Everybody okay with that? A little bit complicated, but it's like, it's not that bad. Okay. Let's see. Where would it go? There it goes. Now, let's see if y'all can label the flows. Okay, Grace Butler, can you do this? Okay, you can do it. So basically what I'm going to ask you is this. Which flow is consumer expenditures? And before you answer, like if you had to answer this on your own and your life depended on it, you could look at your notes, right? Okay, so here's what your notes say. Your notes say that consumer expenditures come from households to business. Okay, so you definitely know that it's going to be going from a house to a business. But then you also know that we spend consumer expenditures in the product market, right? All right, so that's all you need to know to answer that question. Is it 1, 2, 3, or 4? Yeah, it wouldn't be them, right? It would be 2.
That is affirmative.
Affirmative, okay? It can't be 4 because that's coming from the households to the business, but it's going through the resource market. So resources are going to go there, okay?
Why do we know it's a cost?
Because it's consumer expenditures is what we're trying to deal with. And we know that we pay that in order to get goods and services. That was number 2 here. Okay. All right, Grace, keep going. Which one would be goods and services? But again, let me read your notes to you. Okay. Your notes say that goods and services flow from businesses to households, and they flow through the product market. Well, you tell me, goods and services. Well, I just told you they go through the product market. Okay. But here's the other way you know that. We exchange consumer expenditures for goods and services, so they flow, opposite each other through the product market. Kish, Alexandra. No, that's when you go to the store and you buy something with your money. That's a consumer expenditure. No, not even that. It's just the money we earn. Do you have money in your pocket right now? Okay, that's it. It's just that. Yeah, I've got some too. Yeah. All right. Grace, you ready? Land, labor, capital, entrepreneurs. Looking at your notes, it says that land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurs come from households, right? And then businesses buy them in the resource market. Okay?
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
And the last one is 3. Very good. All right, you earned a nickel. All right. Can anybody do this now without the advantage of Grace's notes? You can? All right, you ready? All right. It's a different one. It's a little bit different. I mean, it's the same stuff, but it's a little bit different. We can mix up the order and all that. Okay? So this time, what you're going to do, is it Jacob? No. It is? Okay, so I'm good. So Jacob, you just need to tell me what is this flow as soon as it goes. There it is. Okay, it's coming from households through the resource market to the businesses. Oh, so close so far. Should we give that to him? Should we give him two chances? Okay, so he's fired. He's fired. You, go. Sorry, Jacob. Go. All right, good. Now you ready for the next one? All right.
That's the rent wage.
Okay. Very nice. What's this one? Okay, money coming from the house to the business. Okay, very good. And last one? She's making sure. Good job. All right, so she earned a nickel. All right. I think I've spent enough time on this. I think any more on this, y'all should just go to the websites I've posted or will post, and you can get tutorials. But this is something we just need to move on, is the point, okay? All right, so here we are. We're going to talk about demand now, okay? All we're going to do today is try to understand why it is the demand curve is downward sloping, okay? And you need to understand the difference between what we call quantity demanded and actual demand, okay? So in a few minutes, I'm going to teach you semantics. It's just semantics, so it's not hugely important, except you'll be tested on it, okay? So, anybody know why roses cost more on Valentine's Day? Yeah, why? Yeah, have you ever gotten roses on Valentine's Day? You have? Then they no, but somebody got them for you? That was nice of them. They had to pay extra. You know what I do? No, they're expensive the week before, okay? After. Oh, I'm sick. I couldn't even make it to the store. I'll see you on Saturday. That's the way to do it. Okay? Guys, seriously, that's a very important lesson in life. They're like half the price on the 15th. Okay? So, but that's why, because people want them, right? There's an increase in demand. All right, what about this? This one may be more difficult for you to answer. Why do surgeons earn more than butchers? You think that's it?
You want to live more in New York State. You're more valuable whether surgeons are like operating or saving people. It's harder to keep something alive.
None of that's good enough. Corbin, do you have something? No? Mm-mm. Okay, you're onto something a little bit. All right, all right, no, Kish is onto this part. This is what it is. Kish is talking about supply. There's more butchers than there are surgeons. That's right. Okay? There's a lot more butchers, therefore their services are not as expensive. Okay? That's right. How about this one? This one's been, okay, this didn't exist when I was your age. Okay? When I was your age, it wasn't as difficult to get into A&M and TU. Today it is. Why? Why is it so difficult to get into these two schools? That's what it is. So it's the demand, okay? They have to find a way to ration admission to those universities because there's so much demand for them, okay? So all of these like the rest of this unit is where you're going to learn the answer to all of these questions in more detail, okay? So where are we at? Okay, black-eyed peas. Does anybody eat black-eyed peas on New Year's Day? Okay, I do too. You have a what? Okay. So let's look at the demand for black-eyed peas. All right. When we're calculating demand, we're taking individuals' demand, and we're going to add all the individuals up, and we're going to get the total demand. So here's how it works in a microcosm, okay? We got one individual here. That is Will I Am. He is willing to pay $3 for 35 black-eyed peas, okay? What if the price went up? Would he still be willing to buy 35? No. There's no maybe about it. Y'all have to look at the graph and then you decide. Okay, the price goes up to $5. Will he buy 35 still? No, not according to the graph, right? All right, who doesn't see that? I can point it out. It's okay, don't be shy. Okay, we'll do the next one then. Okay. So we'll add his demand to Fergie's. Okay. For the same $3, she's willing and able to buy 39 black-eyed peas. Okay. I'll answer that question anyway y'all were afraid to ask. The reason, if the price goes higher, the reason they'll buy less is because the shape of the curve. Okay. The curve being shaped as it is, downward sloping, indicates that a higher price will result in a lesser quantity. Okay. So now we could add that up to Taboo. His curve's shaped a little bit differently. Do y'all notice sometimes the curves are shaped differently, like it's steeper or it's flatter? Okay, we're going to see that at the end of class. All right, we add all these guys up, and we find out that the total market demand for black-eyed peas at $3 is, can y'all do the math? 100. Okay? And so now when we look at the total demand curve, it's a lot easier to see this, but if the price goes higher, this little dot is going to have to move over here. We could draw it. I think this will work. Okay, so if we raise the price, we end up with less quantity that is demanded. Okay? Christine, earlier, you said demand, right? When we see point-to-point movement along a curve, we don't call it demand, we call it quantity demanded. Okay? All right. Does anybody like bunny slippers? They're organic, 100% organic. Well, we're going to do an example right here in class right now. Okay? We're going to create what we call a demand schedule, and then we're going to plot our actual demand on a curve. Okay? I'll just have to get over this. It's not that bad. Okay? What do you think P stands for? All right, Q? All right. So these are at Nordstrom's for $100 a pair. How many of y'all would be willing to buy these? Nobody?
It's not just the price, it's also the
I know. Okay. So 0. Huh? You might for $1? Oh. All right. Well, you know what? Nordstrom is feeling you. They're receiving those signals. So what are they going to do to the price? All right, let's drop it to 50. Now, I realize some of you won't buy these, but it'll make the class go a lot easier if somebody will. Oh, Corbin. All right. Jacob. Megan. That's enough for now. All right. 3. Thank you, Megan. Okay. So now we drop the price to $25. Okay, Corbin, Jacob, and Megan. Who else? Now we got Grace. No, Addison. Okay, you two. I forgot your own names already. Yeah. Emily and Hannah. Okay. Oh, check it out. She got her hand high. All right, so let's just, I don't remember what I counted there. Let's say it's 10. Okay. And then we drop it to $10. We're going to get a lot more people who want them, right? You're still not. You refuse. All right, Fez is going to add it to it. Oh, Angela, thank you. All right. So we got 13, 14, 15 more. All right. 16. Okay. That's probably enough. All right. So now we come over here and we can plot our demand. Okay, we put price on the y-axis. You know what? This is an oddity of economics. Okay, it is very strange. What we do in economics is the dependent variable we put on the x, and the independent one we put on the y. And that may be different in your other classes. Okay, in statistics class, it's going to be different. So we actually do things weird. I apologize, but that's how it is. Okay. So $100, and we'll put our 50, put our 25. This isn't to scale, but that's okay. The shape will still work. What did we get? Oops, we had 0, and then 50 gives us 3, and we go 10, 16. Okay. So now we can plot our points. Here, I'll do it different. Okay, there's 1 point. At 50, we got 3. At 25, we got 10. And at 10, we got 16. And so our curve looks something like that. Okay? Oh, and we have to label it. It's the demand curve, D. Cool deal? What we just illustrated, guys, y'all didn't realize this, but we illustrated the law of demand right here in class. Yeah, we illustrated it. The law says that as the price goes down, the quantities will go up. And we just proved it right here in class. That's very exciting. Okay? All right, let's check this out. She's got her lemonade priced at 10 cents. And very few customers are around. She has an idea. Huh? Hold on, what would you buy for it? Oh, you're criticizing her education? All right. So you're saying instead of lowering her price to 5 cents, she should just fix her sign. Gotcha. Maybe she is cute. I don't know. All right. So what's going to happen, though, when she lowers her price? More people. There you go. Okay. So this is what happened. Just like our bunny slippers, when she had the price at 10 cents, there was probably somebody out there that would buy it at 10 cents. Okay. And that's that quantity down here. But then when she lowered the price, it opened it up to more people. Okay? So far, all we're doing, guys, is showing how price affects quantity, right? Okay? In your math classes, if X changes, what happens to Y? It changes. Okay? That's all that's happening here. Okay? In fact, I got a little special note here that you might read. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. Those 3 people are part of the 5. Of the 5 new ones. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you might be crazy to do that, which will bring us to the last part of class. We're going to talk about elasticity. Okay? All right, so this is the semantics, okay? When you lower the price, you don't change demand, okay? Think of that curve as a function. the function didn't change, did it? When you changed X, or you changed Y in this case? Yeah, it's the same graph, it's the same curve, therefore demand doesn't change. Okay? So whenever you get a price change, all you get is a new quantity. No change in demand. And so, Christine, earlier, that's what I said. I was correcting you. Okay? So when there is an increase in demand, you actually shift the curve. The curve will move either to the right or to the left. Okay? All right. Yeah? Are you okay? Okay. So demand is simply our willingness to buy. Okay? The definition of demand is this. It's the quantities of products or goods and services that consumers are willing and able to buy at all of the various prices. Okay? Oh, and during a given time period. All right, so demand is the whole curve. The whole thing, that whole big long line with infinite points that connect it, that is demand. A single point on the curve is the quantity demanded. Okay, why do we demand stuff? We actually talked about this last time. We want things because we find that they give us utility, right? They're useful to us. Demand is constantly changing because of either price or non-price factors. I'm not going to give us time to write down this timer thing right now because we're going to hit that at the end of class or next class if we can't do it today. So let me just get that out of here. All right, sorry. So basically right now, all I need you to get is that price changes the quantity, okay? Demand itself can change, but it changes because of things outside of price. Everybody get that? So as an example, what if all of y'all wanted bunny slippers before you saw them? I said, hey, I've got bunny slippers, who wants them? Every single one of you wanted them because I was selling them for $10, okay? Then when I pull them out of the bag, you discover what? They're real bunnies. Do all of you still want them? I didn't change the price, but now fewer of you want them, right? That's a change in demand, okay? So when price changes, we get a change in the quantity that is demanded. But when you discover that the bunnies are actually real and it's kind of sick to put your foot inside his body, then you discover that you don't want it no matter what the price is. That's a change in demand, okay? Yeah. Yeah. All right. Everybody cool then? Yeah, oh yeah. Anything but price. We're going to talk about that next time. I don't have time today because what time do we get out? 37? Okay. I want to get through this, and if we have time at the end, we'll talk about it, okay? All right.
Everywhere I go. Spectacle. America. Microphone. Monday.
All right. Anybody use a typewriter? Do any of you want one? Yeah. Okay. Anybody who's not a hipster want one? Yeah. Nobody wants it, right? All right. All right. Hold on. Let's do this. If you get a typewriter, you have to give up your computer. Raise your hand if you want one. Okay. Now, what if I lower the price? Now, do you want one? Oh, okay. So, yeah. Okay, so basically, typewriters are not in high demand, okay? So let me demonstrate what we mean by the curve shifting, not having anything to do with price, okay? So here we have the demand for typewriters. You notice I didn't do any plotting? Okay, we don't need to. We always know that demand is downward sloping. So who cares what numbers are, okay? So now I'm going to make up the numbers. This typewriter cost $50. Okay? Does anybody want it? Oh, let's go back in time. Let's say that this is typewriter demand in 1950. They're $50. There's probably this many people that want the typewriter, right? There's that many people that want it, Q1. All right? Now, let's fast forward to 2014. They're still $50. Do that many people still want them? All right, so let's see what happened. Okay? What ended up happening is this. The demand curve actually probably went something like this. It shifted this direction. Okay? So I guess, Corbin, I'm actually answering your question, even though I didn't want to right now. But so this can happen too. Okay? So now the quantity that is demanded is way over here. Even though the price didn't change, fewer people want them, right? Okay, so something happened outside of price that made people want these typewriters, or not want them anymore, okay? Even if you lower the price, I could lower them down to $10, and you still have fewer people that want them now than when they were useful, okay? So we're focusing today on price, but be aware, sometimes things go up in demand, and it has nothing to do with price. Sometimes they go down in demand, and it has nothing to do with price. Here's some examples. Hi. These are things that are in more demand today than maybe they were 10 years ago. Okay, some of them didn't even exist, right? Do you see the Apple Glass? That's my favorite. Okay, competing with Google Glass. Yeah. Oh yeah, you just need some tape and some glasses. How about the orange jumpsuit? Are those more popular today than they maybe were before? Oh, Princess Unicorn, of course. Katy Perry music, maybe. She's still top on the charts, isn't she? So, yeah. Snuggies, the iPad, Starbucks, GoPro. These are things that are they're pretty cool, right? I have one. Hey, there's Princess Unicorn. So why was the Princess Unicorn sold out? Okay, that maybe happened, but let's look at why it really happened, okay? Yeah, let's check it out, okay? This is what happened. Okay? Okay, so we have our demand curve for Princess Unicorn dolls. Okay, toy makers decided they needed to be $20. Okay? But then what happened? Did they drop the price so low that they just sold out? No, they left it at $20. So what really happened is, unexpectedly, people just wanted that thing, okay? So the demand increased, and now they're gone. They sold out because if they had raised the price, look, what if they raised the price way up here? Then it would have stayed the same. Kish, Alexandra? Yeah, and it has nothing to do with the price, okay? Hold on, let's finish hers. Only if the demand changes. We're going to focus on that next time, okay? So don't get caught up in it. I just want y'all to be aware that if the price changes, we do change the amount we buy, okay? But that's movement along the curve whenever there's a price change. But then there's other times where we buy more and it has nothing to do with the price. Okay, question.
So if the demand changes, would that be like the curve thing?
Mm-hmm.
So just well,
Oh, it doesn't matter. No.
Like why would it go out? Like why would it just move out?
Because what this means, see this curve here, the blue one, that is the quantities that are demanded at every single price, okay? So way up here, maybe it's $100. There's this many people that want it. Maybe this is the smaller edge, okay? All right, now they're very, very popular. So now at every single price, there's more people who want it. That's why the whole curve shifts.
So wait,
Okay.
That's showing like why it's so low.
Yeah, because it became more popular, but they didn't change the price.
Okay.
So now there's more people who wanted it every single price. And then Dwight, he got smart. He bought them all, and now he's selling them for a lot, right? Toby. Poor Toby. Yeah. It's for his daughter. Oh, well. Goods that have greater demand today include anything with the letter I in front of it. Agreed? I don't know why that is. I actually go out of my way not to buy things with an I.
Tomorrow, Apple will be releasing yet another must-have new product.
Have y'all seen this?
The iHand. The state-of-the-art prosthesis, which is attached to the stump of your wrist, can play music, receive email, and even interface with other Apple products. Mac fans are already chopping off their hands in anticipation of tomorrow's release.
So the Apple iHand comes out tomorrow, and I can't wait. I pre-ordered it 2 months ago and saw my hand off this afternoon. And go to the Apple store tomorrow morning and pick it up. I'm gonna get the thumbs on that.
Thanks.
Nice. All right, so anyway, that's crazy. All right, so we already covered this, right? This is the demand schedule. That's a demand graph, okay? You got to have these numbers to accurately plot that other thing. If you don't have numbers, though, you can still draw a demand curve, can't you? Because you know the shape. Yes, sir. Yep. Yeah, this is our demand schedule. This is our demand curve. And really, again, today, as long as you can understand that the demand curve is downward sloping and that we change our quantities based on price, you're pretty good. Now, in a few minutes, I'm going to make it complicated. I'm going to show you why it is that we buy more at lower prices, okay? Because there's actual scientific terms for it. Here's an example of law of demand, though. All right, Coke, Pepsi, Dr. Pepper, 7-Up, everything costs $1. How many of y'all will buy Coke? Or would have bought Coke because you can't now? Yeah, Michelle Obama. All right, so how many of y'all are Coke drinkers, though? Okay, this is y'all. Okay, y'all are right here waving your dollar. Y'all are in this group, okay? So we come over to our demand curve. Y'all are right here where the blue dot is, okay? But guess what? The rest of us are also on this curve. Even if you don't think you like Coke, if we lower the price enough, you'll buy it, right? Okay, so if we lower the price to 50 cents, how many of y'all are going to buy Coke? Okay, more of you? Or how about those of you that would pay $1? Will you now buy 2 Cokes? Now that they're 50 cents? Some of you will, some of you won't, right? Okay. So here's the added Coke drinkers. All right, at 50 cents, we've grown the number of people that are going to buy Coke. So now we've dropped to here, and there's the new group. What if we drop it to 10 cents? How many of y'all will buy Coke? Okay. So when we drop it to 10 cents, we end up with this quantity, okay? So even though, like me, I'm a Dr. Pepper guy, all right? I'd never buy Coke. But I'll be honest with you, if they lower it enough, I might buy it, right? So I'm still on the curve, even though I don't like Coke. You drop the Coke price to 10 cents and the Dr. Pepper's still $1, I'm probably going to buy Coke, okay? What we've illustrated, and I'm not going to let you write this down right now because we're going to write it down in detail in a few minutes, but we've illustrated 2 reasons why the curve is downward sloping, okay? And those 2 reasons are called the income effect and the substitution effect, okay? Now, more about the law of demand. The Pear phone comes out and it's $599. Who's going to buy it? Some people will, some people won't, okay? What if we want more people to buy it, what do we have to do to the price? Lower it, okay? Or we have to find a way to get people to buy it at the $599 price, okay? But absent that, we'd have to lower the price. That's another picture of the law of demand, okay? You lower the price, what happens to the quantity demanded? It gets bigger, all right? Good deal. And again, let's remind ourselves, that results in a change in quantity demanded. This is very important. It didn't change demand, though. And the reason you know it didn't change demand is because this curve didn't move, okay? If it moves, then you got a change in demand. All right, so I think on the next slide, we start talking about the income effect, substitution effect, and this other thing called diminishing marginal utility, okay? So let's get to it here. Yes, ma'am? Tell you what, I'll take this time while y'all are writing to make a math reference, okay? So let's say you have, Corbin, correct me if I'm wrong, you know math, right? Okay, y equals 2x, okay? Something like that. All right. If I change x, y gets different, right? Okay. And when it changes, what would this look like? So this is a y, and this is the x. Y equals 2x. So this would be like, this would be 2, this would be 1, right? So it'll look, ew. I don't like going in that other side. I'm just going to use this one. I'm not allowed to go over here or down here or over here. Oh, my bad. Okay. Is that what I need to do? Okay, there it is. Okay, cool. No, you have to know a lot, and it's terrible. I'll show you some of my stuff I had to do. Yeah, no, I'll show you some stuff. It's just it gets rusty because we don't use it. You have to. It was ugly. I'm telling you. If you ever want to get a master's in economics, get your undergrad in math. It'll be so easy, okay? All right, so anyway, this is what it looks like, right? All right, so if I change x to another number, then it just changes along this curve, right? Okay? But what if I do this? What if this is no longer 2 and it becomes 3? Now what happens to the curve? The whole thing moves, right? Okay. Huh? I do? Oh, thanks. Okay. But now I end up with the whole curve shifting, correct? Whatever. The point is, if I change the x, I just get a different y. But if I change the x, not the exponent, this thing in front, what's it called? The coefficient, then the whole curve moves. Okay? That's what I'm trying to get at. All right. So let's see if we really got it. In simplistic terms, Angela, find the mistake and narrate as we go. Okay, tell us the story. What's going on? Well, just
selling lemonade at 5 cents.
okay, and then they have a customer who says,
She wants a glass of lemonade.
okay, you're paraphrasing, that's fine. Then what do they do with the price? Ooh.
Forget it.
Then what happens to their customer?
She no longer wants the lemonade.
All right, and what's the partner say?
He's like, you increase the price.
Okay, and then what's his excuse?
Less people.
Oh, Corbin's got it.
It's just mean.
No, the mistake is here. The word demand is the mistake. It should say quantity demanded. Okay? So see, y'all still didn't get it after all that explanation. So, yeah, you got it, right? So that's the key. So don't forget that, okay? I've told y'all a dozen times now. Price will change the quantity demanded, but it will not change demand. Okay? All right, cool. Now, income effect.
I'm thinking Cornish game. And everybody gets their own little baby chicken on their own little baby plate. Oh, and an Orange salad. No, it's absolutely pronounced on deep. Why isn't this working?
Because we have a station wagon. I think I drive the same car as a hip-hop music mogul because I'm feeling richer effectively.
All right. Do you get how that works? If you can save money on one thing, can you buy more of other things? Or if you lower the price of one thing, does that make your money go farther for that one thing? Yeah? So if I drop the price of a Coke to 10 cents, your dollar becomes more valuable, doesn't it? Say yeah.
Yes.
Okay? That's called the income effect. It means this. At lower prices, current buyers are richer and therefore will buy more. Okay, so this is one of the reasons why the curve is downward sloping. Okay? Lower prices result in more quantity demanded because we are richer as a result of lower prices. Mm-hmm. The opposite's true too. As prices go up, if our income doesn't, we have to buy less. Okay? All right, are y'all happy with the income effect? All you have to do is be able to recognize examples of this. Okay? So if I say Dr. Pepper was $1, but the Cokes were on sale for 50 cents, so I decided to buy Coke. What's that an example of? The income effect. Okay? The next one's called the substitution effect. Okay? And by the way, this is also an example of what I just gave you. So actually I screwed up. Let me repeat that. Let me rephrase it. I go to the store to get my Dr. Pepper. I normally pay $1 for a 2-liter bottle, but now they're on sale for 50 cents. That's when I buy more Dr. Pepper. That's the income effect. Okay, when I said I normally buy Dr. Pepper, but the Coke was on sale, that's the substitution effect. Okay, I apologize for that. So buyers of higher priced substitutes will now buy the lower priced one. Okay, so income effect, substitution effect. Those are pretty simple, right? Okay. This one's where it gets more confusing. This is diminishing marginal utility. So do you remember what marginal means? Yeah, one step at a time, or extra. So your extra unit, okay? Utility means satisfaction, right? And what's diminishing mean? Yeah. So basically, the satisfaction you get from consuming whatever it is gets smaller after each subsequent consuming of that product. Okay? So can y'all think of some examples? It's not. It's real. It's physiological. Come on. Don't you know anything? You get sick of it. Mm-hmm. And so what do they need to do to get you to change it up? They have to lower the price. Okay? I did an example, and I don't have anything to do this with, but last year, one of my students loved Hershey's. Okay? Well, I had one of those giant Hershey candy bars, and I gave it to her. I said, okay, during class, I want you to eat this. And then at the end of class, I asked her, was the last bite as good as the first bite? What was the answer? No, it wasn't. Okay? So diminishing marginal utility just means this. Buyers will buy more only when the price is lowered. Okay? And yeah, Corbin, songs, that's a great example. I mean, how often do they overplay your favorite song and then it's no longer your favorite song? Okay? Happens all the time. Anyway, I normally don't eat this much, but if you lower the price, I'll go ahead and eat more. Okay? That's what we mean by diminishing marginal utility as a reason for the demand curve downward sloping. Okay? That's why they have the 12 tacos for $10. Would you normally buy 12 tacos?
No.
If they're like $1.50? No, you got to lower the price. Okay? All right, cool. Y'all good to go? Okay. Here's a perfect textbook type example of the law of diminishing marginal utility. Okay? If you had no shoes and you had to walk around outside, how would your feet feel? Okay, but eventually they would feel okay because you'd develop those calluses. But the concrete's hot, the asphalt's hot, maybe the rocks that you have to walk on, they hurt your feet. Okay? Maybe it's snowing outside, now your feet are frostbit. So one pair of shoes would give you a lot of utility, correct? Okay. Would the second pair of shoes give you as much? Because your feet are already protected, the second pair just gives you variety, correct? And the third pair? Fourth, and so on. So you end up getting less utility every time you purchase shoes, okay? So what do they have to do to the price of shoes to get you to buy more? They have to lower the price. That's why they have the BOGO, right? Buy one, get one. Mm-hmm. Yep. And because we have diminishing marginal utility, the only way to get us to buy more is to lower the price. So those are the three explanations as to why the law of demand is correct. Why it is that we actually buy more when the price goes down is because of the income effect, substitution effect, and then the law of diminishing marginal utility. Here's one with romance. Any of y'all ever been in a relationship? Okay. Sometimes, I mean, it's kind of weird, but sometimes you actually get sick of people, don't you? All right. That's natural until you find the right one. See, she says it's been fun, but I think we're entering the diminished marginal utility phase of our relationship. That's how you can break up with somebody. No, I've been married 21 years. It just gets better, man. That's really, the first few years are actually very hard because then you're like, well, you can't tell me what to do. You're not the boss of me, right? So now I realize she is the boss of me. All right. So we've already done this, okay? We've graphed data to get a demand curve. We've explained why it is the demand curve is downward sloping, other than the common sense that lower prices mean people buy more, okay? This is stuff you'll see on your homework, okay? You'll be asked to plot demand curves and then analyze them, answer questions about it, okay? So it's not hard to do. All right, so now we're going to look at elasticity, okay? I've still got like 20 minutes, so I think we're in good shape, all right? Y'all may not be aware of this, but when the iPhone first came out, they did price it at $599 with a one-year contract. Jordan? Okay. At the beginning of class, I told you all the chapter, didn't I? Or I think it's chapter 3. Well, I call it Unit 1, Lesson 3, but I think it's chapter 3 in the book. Is that acceptable? And by the way, this coincides almost section by section with the book, so it shouldn't be hard to find. You should be in good shape, okay, for reference. All right, so when the iPhone first came out, it really did come out at $599. Within a couple of months, they lowered the price. Anybody know why? All right. All right. So they you know what they lowered it to? This will still blow you away. It was $3.99. How'd you know? Okay. They lowered it to $3.99. Okay. Here's the thing that we need to understand, and I think it may have been Corbin that brought this up earlier, because I think you did. You mentioned, no, it was Fez. I apologize. Fez brought this up. He said, what if there's only 2 demanded at the, what price, $5 price? 3. Okay, so there's 3 demanded at a $5 price? 10? Okay. But then when he lowered the price to 5, there was 5 demanded? All right, good. Listen to the math. If you keep the price high, how much money are you going to receive? 3 times 10, 30. If you lower the price to 5, how much money do you receive? So should you lower the price in that instance if you're selling stuff? No. The exact opposite occurred with Apple. Okay? At the high price, they had, an X amount of people buying it and then an X amount of revenue. When they lowered the price, guess what happened to their revenue? It actually went up, okay? And the reason it did is because the curve for the iPhone is elastic. So what do we mean by that? Let me draw you a picture. Okay. I'm going to draw an elastic curve over here. Hope this stays. Okay. And then I'll make this one a different color. I have to be careful how I write, or else it will shift out on me. Okay? Do you see the big difference between these curves? Yes? Okay, what is it? Yeah. So here's one way to remember it. Okay, this is an elastic curve. What that means is the quantity has a really, really long range that it follows, like a stretched out rubber band. Okay? Over here, the quantity is over a very small area or distance. Their rubber band doesn't stretch very much. Everybody followed me? Okay. So what that means is if the price over here changes by a little bit with the elastic one, quantity changes a whole lot, right? Over here, I could lower the price from a bunch to hardly anything, and quantity barely changes. Does that make sense, guys? So what type of good would have an elastic demand curve? Well, hold on. Everything appeals to all of us. I mean, we want everything, right? But do we have to have everything? Okay. So over here, we could label these things. We could say these are going to be your necessities. Necessities, however you spell it. Okay. These are what? Luxuries. Okay. That spells luxuries. All right. So that's the big difference. Not necessarily. Actually, if I was selling something, I would really like this. Do you know why? I could jack the price up and you still have to buy it. Okay? Over here, this is more difficult. Yeah. Gasoline. You said it first? You get a nickel. Oh, who said it first?
I was thinking the same.
You already got one. All right. Yeah, gasoline, medications that you have to have, regular foodstuffs that you buy all the time, like milk and bread. Okay? Over here, the luxuries, that's totally different. But here's why, yes, ma'am. Yep.
So the
Mhm.
like McDonald's, the foods, like they make it cheap, most people buy it, that's like their time curve.
Mhm.
The other ones are $40, I guess, so that there's less people buying, but there's more.
Well, actually, they could both be over here. It just depends. Let me show you why it depends, okay? Yeah, but you don't have to buy that one, right? All right, so this is how it works, okay? There's a bunch of ways you can tell something's elastic or inelastic. Okay, the easiest is just look at the curve. Okay, the flatter one is elastic, the steeper one is inelastic. Okay, But then there's also this thing called the total receipts test. You're not going to have to know this necessarily. I mean, I'm not going to test you on the total receipts, okay? But it's interesting. So this guy, this product, whatever it is, at $2 has a quantity demanded of 20, okay? This other product at $2 has also a quantity demanded of 20, okay? So right now, at that price, both goods are receiving $40 of revenue. Everybody agree? Okay. If we drop the price to $1, now this one's selling 30. This one over here is selling 50. Okay? So if you were the guy selling the inelastic good, would you lower your price to $1? You wouldn't want to, right? Because you're losing revenue. On the other hand, if you're selling this good, does it make sense for you to lower your price to $1? It might, right? Depending on your expenses involved. But yeah, it might. And so that's why elasticity is important for businesses. That's more of a microeconomic concept, but we cover some of the micro stuff in this class. Okay? Y'all happy with that? It's kind of interesting? All right. So what you would need to know for your actual test is just like the definition of elasticity, which if you look up here, it's just the degree to which quantities are changed by changes in price. Okay? It's how price or how quantities are affected by price. Okay? To be elastic, that means the quantity demanded is very responsive to price. Okay? You could change the price a little bit and change the quantity demanded by a lot. Inelastic means that a change in price doesn't have a whole lot of impact at all. Okay? So examples. Okay? Things with elastic demand are going to be goods that have substitutes. Okay? If something has a close substitute, if you raise the price on it, people will just buy the other thing. Okay? So that's an elastic good. Luxuries. I think we talked about luxuries, and we called everything a luxury that's in this category, right? Things that are expensive. I think I heard somebody out here say that things that are expensive would have elastic demand. Okay. Things that are durable. Okay. We had a refrigerator at our house that was perfectly good. Okay. Nothing wrong with it. Oh, let me talk about the stove. I remodeled our house, and there was nothing wrong with our stove. Worked perfectly, but it was white. My wife wanted stainless. Okay. So the white one was durable. It still worked. So in order for me to buy the stainless one, we had to find one cheap. Okay. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done it. Things that last a long time, same thing. Things with inelastic demand are things without substitutes. So milk. Okay. If you have a screaming baby at home that needs milk, what are you going to do? You're going to buy milk. Yeah, you're just or the most convenient, because like if you buy milk at 7-Eleven, it costs a lot more than it does at Kroger, right? Because it's convenient. So you'll still pay it because at 2 o'clock in the morning you need it, huh? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And because they can get it, you know, well they can sell it at that. If they couldn't sell it and it always went bad, then they wouldn't. They'd have to lower the price. Okay, things that are cheap anyway. Okay, if the price of safety pins triples, does it matter to you? It wouldn't make any difference. Who cares? It went from 1 penny to 3 pennies. Okay, I'll get over it. Okay, and things that don't last very long. All right. So examples. Okay, if Coke is $1, you buy it. If it's $3, you've got alternatives. Okay, there's substitutes. You can buy Pepsi. Yeah, well, movement along the curve, yeah, it also has to do with that. And elasticity and inelasticity are just different categories. They're not the reason the curve is downward sloping. They more explain the flatness or the steepness of it. Okay, so they're different categories. Okay, and milk, we talked about.
Yeah, milk.
Okay, you still have to buy it regardless of the price. Okay. All right, so we got 10 minutes. Is that right? Or close to it? 37. Okay, so we got 8 minutes-ish. Let's not do this. I'm going to skip ahead, and we're going to introduce timer so that next class will be easier for us to get into, okay? So this is just an acronym to explain to you what will actually cause this curve to shift to the right or to the left, okay? So So timer, I got to write on this side, I think. Sorry, I'm in your way. Taste. Okay? If all the cool kids have iPads, what do I want? So do you have to lower the price for me to buy one? I just want one. So I'm going to shift the demand curve like this. Okay? The fact that they're more popular, or I've gained some sort of taste for them, causes me to buy more. Okay? Everybody got that? What if the cool kids aren't using iPads? Now do I want one? No. So I would actually cause the curve to shift to the right. I mean to the left. By the way, these prices are inaccurate. I used to have Mentos up here. I changed it. All right. Then we got income. Okay? If I lose my job and have no income, am I going to be buying one of these? What if you lower the price? I still won't. So that would cause the curve to shift to the left. What if I get a big raise? Okay? You don't have to lower the price. I'll just still buy more. Okay? So that's a shift in the curve. All right? This stands for market size. Okay? Do you think demographics have changed as far as the use of technology? Okay? Like my parents, they just recently got like a phone, like a cell phone. Yeah, it's like that. I mean, all it does is call people. Doesn't do anything else. Okay? But as the older generation kind of disappears and the younger generation gets out there, do you think there's going to be a greater demand for these things? Okay, that's the change in the market size. Okay, so as the market size grows, there's going to be a greater demand regardless of what you do to the price. All right, this is where it gets tricky. Corbin, I think you did ask about this. Okay, when we talk about the expectations, okay, we're talking about the expectation of price in the future, the expectation of availability in the future, and the expectation of our own incomes in the future. So basically, what we expect to happen in the future does affect the way we buy things today. Does that make sense? Okay. So if I think the iPad's going to be cheaper in a couple of weeks, am I going to buy one today? No. What about this? What if I think it's going to be more expensive in a couple of weeks? I might buy it now, okay? So this one deals a little bit with price, but not the current price. So if I think the price will be higher in the future, I'll increase my demand today. Follow me? Mm-hmm.
Or like your content ideas after you're expecting.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. All right, awesome. How about the last one's related goods? All right. So most goods have substitutes and complements. Okay? So the substitute for this, what would that be? The Samsung one, or the Surface Pro? That's what I want. I want one of those. Okay? So if those things get less expensive, we'll start buying those, and what happens to our demand for these? It goes down. Okay? If all the substitutes out there are more expensive than this, we'll buy more of this one. Okay? So that's kind of an introduction to this acronym timer: taste, income, market size, expectations, and related goods. And I think we did a good job today. Y'all should give yourselves a hand. Okay. Yay. Y'all are clapping for me.